Good evening, Julian McBain here, and tonight I am playing some Entropia Universe, and got a very special topic that I want to discuss tonight, and that is the indomitable Saint Lootius. That's right, folks, I am going to talk about the patron saint of loots in Entropia Universe. Before I really get into that topic tonight, there's a couple things I want to go through. First off, please hit like and subscribe down below, especially if you like what you see. Let me know that you're watching. If you see anything that you like, comment. If you see anything you don't like, comment. If you have an answer to something I mentioned, comment. Tonight I'm doing essentially a 20 PED run. It's going to be like a 20 PED and 4 PEC run or 40 PEC run. I killed one mob, got a reasonably decent drop off of it, ended up having to step away for a minute, came back, went to convert the 29 PEC worth of ammo, hit a wrong button and converted it all. I was irritated. That's okay. I have upgraded to the Kinetic Attack Nano Chip 2, and so I'm going to be leveling that tonight. I'm giving the sword a break. I do pretty well on my Kinetic Attack Nano Chip 1 for efficiency-wise, so I'm going to see how this one does. It's a little bit more powerful. It uses quite a bit more ammo than the first one, but I think that all in all, we're going to see a total net gain, even if we have to account for skills in that, so we're going to see where this leads. Yeah, we're getting some decent loots. Lootius is being nice to me. So let's talk about Lootius. Who is Lootius? And from what I can gather, from a constructive standpoint, and where's the fun in that in video games? But I'm going to say it because I'm kind of looking at this from a video game anthropologist standpoint. Lootius is the patron saint of loots in Entropia, or the patron god of loots, I guess, depending on your stance on the matter. And basically, it's the random number generator that determines what the loots are. And I know that it's not as random as in a lot of games because we are dealing with real money. We are dealing with real money. Yeah, I can't even fucking talk tonight. And it can't be a gamble, or else the government of Sweden would get really pissy with Mind Arc. So the algorithm, shall we say, of the loots in Entropia Universe is Saint Lootius. And I think it's hilarious that there's almost like this cult mentality around Lootius. It's all tongue-in-cheek, but the people love it. We all talk about how Lootius shines upon us when we swirly or global. Now, I haven't yet. Lootius has not been that kind to me at this point, but I still haven't paid all my dues yet, I suppose. So I was thinking about it, and just listening to all the Lootius stuff, and I really think Mind Arc should put a temple to Lootius in. It doesn't even have to do very much. Just be enough to let the players go there. They have this temple to Lootius. Maybe give him a caricature, a face in the game, statues to Lootius. Maybe even like NPC priesthood. Even make it an achievement or a title of some sort of profession: priest of Lootius, priestess of Lootius. I think that would be just fucking hilarious. We have a clergy of Lootius out there, and the better you are at it, maybe tie it to your looting skills, like the animal looter, robot looter, things like that they came out with for the professions. Tie it to that and just have it be where you are in the clergy of Lootius. I think it would just be hilarious. And I would love to see them drop a temple into the game. It doesn't even have to be a camp, maybe a little shrine at Camp Icarus or some silly thing like that, but like put it in, ooh, that was kind of nice. I think that was 12 PED? No. Is that 1.2 PED? Right, I'm not hunting Longtooth anymore. I don't get 12 PED drops. But anyway, just have this whole, even have a whole mission storyline around Lootius. Make it an event or something. I just think it would be absolutely hilarious. because you really don't find many things in this game that are centered around the player-based culture, just the strict player-based culture in the game. You know, players put a lot of time into this game, they put a lot of energy, they pour millions of dollars a year into it. You know, there's about 1 million players. I'm willing to bet the average player probably puts between $200 and $300 a year. So think about that. That's like $300 million in revenue for Mindark. And the whole game has just its own social structure. I better heal my ass or else I'm going to be dead. The game has almost its own social structure. It's not hierarchical by any real means except the society leaders. Within individual societies there might be some sort of a hierarchy, but like the one I'm in is totally laid back. I'm third circle or some silly thing like that. Yeah, I'm third circle. I think I'm actually like the number 2 man in the society, and it happened totally by accident. And I just think it's awesome how we've built this community, and you know, even in-game legends have kind of started up about like Lootius. An in-game legend, Lootius. The algorithm has been personified. It is Lootius, and he is good. And to just kind of put a little bit into it so that that sort of thing is just exemplified, I think would be awesome. You know, Mindark has built this amazing thing that we all love. And I think it would be really cool if they just took a little bit of time to look at the player-based culture that we've created, the history that we've created, and go with it. You know? That's just my opinion, I guess. I mean, take it for what it's worth. I've been playing the game 6 months. Well, hell, shit, I think I'm on 8 months now. I started last December, and I am loving it to death. I have no intention of stopping anytime soon. And honestly, I'm well beyond the point where most players would stop if they were going to stop early on. So I'm pretty sure if I make it, basically if I make it a year in an MMO, I will likely be playing it in 5. You know, when I started out in WoW, it was the same thing. It was like, we'll give it a shot, see how it is. And I stuck with it, and I loved it. And the same thing goes for EU, and it's just an amazing game. There's so much content. And I've only ever really done anything on Calypso. I've given a couple taxi rides on other planets, but I've only really done things on Calypso, which means there's 5 other worlds for me to do all kinds of content on. I could be doing this for years. In fact, I'm pretty sure my next video, instead of being a mundane hunt, I think I'm going to find one of the missions I haven't completed yet, the story missions. Because there are a few. Cleanup at Fort Lahar is kind of a grind. The big problem is that trying to deal with the stupid robot invasion bullshit, and you never know when they're going to drop, is kind of an ass pain. But like Corona's hunting task, I think that was part of the... I don't know if that was part of the fragment challenge or not. No, there was the fragment challenge. I need to finish that. I got like to mission 3 or something. But then there's like the trail to the east where you have to go to North Swamp Camp and talk to the trail guide. I am now of a level to where I can actually complete that mission, I'm pretty sure. Or at least I have a pretty decent chance of doing so without burning out all my PED. So maybe for my next vid, that's what I'll do. I'll start doing some of these story missions and really explore just the history behind Calypso and EU as a whole. Kind of look at what there is for content. And now, I've said it before, I wish I had been a content creator when I started this game. I most definitely wasn't. I didn't think I had the ability. And I'm kind of regretting it now. If it weren't for the fact that it would be it would be a violation of terms of service, but, well, I guess if I deleted this tune, I could do it, but I've put way too many hours, way too much PED into developing this character, and I don't want to just dump it, because after you've spent so many hours on a character, and I could chip him out, it wouldn't be that huge a sacrifice, but I'm not feeling that. I don't want to do that, so I'm gonna stick with it. Kenichi Kamadaki is who I am in the game. That's who I will continue to be. And I'm looking forward to seeing where this character goes. But yeah, so what I'll do is I'll start doing the storyline missions and just see how deep the story goes on this planet. Because I know that when it began, there were no missions. When this game began, there were no missions. Completely open world, complete sandbox. That's all there was to it. And then they updated the game. I think it was between 2010 and 2011 when they switched. From what I gather, it's when they switched to CryEngine 2 from their original engine. And I don't know if it was Cry 1 that they originally put it on, or if it was on a different engine. But when they switched to Cry 2, they included all of this new content. And there was a huge content drop. It wasn't an X-Pack per se, but it should have been, or it should have been a re-release of something of that nature where everyone's skills carried over from the old grind. And now, to be a planet partner, you actually have to create a certain amount of content, of storyline content, to provide to the players, or it's not considered adequate enough to be a planet partner, which I actually think is a good thing. I really do. I think it's beneficial to the future of EU, because I think that without having a generalized plot, a game can die rather quickly. This game survived all kinds of things, but keep in mind the game came out about the same time that MMOs were becoming a real thing. And yes, they had like Ultima Online way back in the fucking day, but that was back when everyone was on dial-up, and it looked worse than RuneScape, to be honest. Back then it was awesome. We thought it was great, but it was worse than RuneScape by comparison. And I'm not digging on RuneScape or Ultima Online at all. They were a product of their times when they were designed. But compared to the level of detail in EU or its contemporaries like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 14, even Final Fantasy 11 to a lesser extent, they weren't, and they aren't. And I know that to RuneScape's benefit, they do things the way they do in order to make it as accessible as possible. You can run RuneScape on a Windows XP machine today, I'm sure, and it wouldn't have a problem at all. It's designed specifically to be accessible to absolutely anyone, and that's great for them. This game most certainly isn't. You do require a certain amount of graphics quality, and it is the CryEngine, which way back in the day was basically your standardized trial by fire to see if your processor could handle it. In fact, I remember when CryEngine first came out for the original Crysis. And now I'm dating myself on this one. The original Crysis came out, and there wasn't a computer built that could handle the processing power, the sheer processing power needed to use the CryEngine to its full effect. It just didn't exist yet. They designed CryEngine for a future computer build. And I know people with what used to be considered high-end computers, and their processors would just chug. And we're talking, oh hell, I don't even think dual cores are out back then. I think we were still on Pentium 2s, or the standard Intel processor at the time. It was just, you'd install Crysis, and it was just like, my computer's overheating. We don't even have a cooling unit designed for this yet. Oh my goodness. Oh, I marvel at how far we've come just in my lifetime. Shit. Personal computers weren't even a thing when I was a kid. I remember we were playing SimCity on these friggin' IBM all-in-one units that nowadays people would probably think look like an iMac from a dinosaur iMac or something like that. These old IBM DOS computers, they might have Windows 3.1 on them. And we were playing 8-bit SimCity and it was just, and we loved it. We ate it up because at the time that was amazing that we would have this simulator and it could simulate disasters and give us these cities that we could build, and you had to wire them up, and it was just incredible. And now, looking back on it, of course, they don't hold up. Well, SimCity 1 might to a certain extent. The only reason I say that is, compared to a modern SimCity game, the simplicity of it makes dealing with the strategic placement just that much easier. Because everything's laid out in nice 8-bit blocks. You see the buildings being made, but they don't get in the way. It's not all 3D and shit. Which, when you're trying to do some town planning, I actually find a little bit easier to deal with. I haven't played SimCity since SimCity 1. No, I take that back. I did play SimCity 2000 once or twice. It was just the buildings would get in the way. You could never build things quite the way you wanted them, in my opinion. But yeah, just the level of technology difference that we've come through. Jesus, so here's where I come from. I remember NES games, Nintendo Entertainment System games, when it first came out, and they were the most brutally unforgiving video games on the planet. Ninja Gaiden 1. Ninja Gaiden 1. I don't give a shit what you think the remake of Ninja Gaiden, I think, was for PS2 or 3. Maybe it was for Xbox. I don't care how unforgiving you think that game was. And to be fair, that genre or that franchise has tried its best to stay true to the original, where it's just brutally unforgiving. But we're talking, oh, Chris, one mistimed jump and off the cliff you went. And that was it. You weren't even able to climb the walls. In Ninja Gaiden 2, it got a little easier. You were able to climb most walls, but in Ninja Gaiden 1, you had to do the jump stick. And what I mean by that is you could stick to the walls when you landed on them, but you couldn't. Whoops, wrong button. You couldn't climb the walls. To climb the walls, you had to jump and curve back over, and pray to God you were a few pixels higher than when you started. And I am sure the people that are watching this that have never played an old NES game are thinking, yeah, right, no, I'm serious. Ninja Gaiden 1, I distinctly recall having to climb a wall 3 fucking pixels at a time. And if you mistimed just one jump off the fucking cliff, you went and you were dead. You didn't get to fall down to the last level, ladies and gentlemen. You died. It was fatal. And that's what we expected back then. It was just like, fuck. You go into it knowing that you're going to die like 1,000 times, and then most of them, including, I don't think either of the first 2 Ninja Gaidens had a save. If you had to turn the machine off, you were starting back from level 1, and the struggle started again. I think the only game that was more unforgiving, there was this one level in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Dam. Let me hear it. Let me hear it from all the people who were just completely scarred by the Dam level in the original NES Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Just the most brutally unforgiving gameplay you could ever imagine. And that shit was timed. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you go through it, it's okay. It's tough but not terrible. It's kind of Metroidvania, Mario-esque. You have all the turtle powers and the turtle powers, I say. You've got like Leonardo with his swords and Mikey with the nunchucks. And Donatello's bow is more challenging because it could only go in 3 straight lines, but it was more powerful to make up for it. And then Raph was good against certain things, but he had to get so close to shit because of his short little size that oftentimes you were getting hurt for no reason, which always kind of pissed me off. Raphael was always my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Because he never hesitated to get stuck in. They put him in a video game and they just completely dick him. It just wasn't fair. But anyway, so you go through, you beat Bebop and Rocksteady, and they're tough but nothing too terrible. It's like, okay, this is a pretty typical NES boss fight. And you go to the dam and you jump off, and there's hell in the seawater waiting for you. The seaweed electrified, so it hurts you on touch. And we're not talking just a little bit. You had, I think, 16 health points, health boxes. Most enemies did half a box of damage to you. These took 4. Between 2 and 4, if I remember correctly. It's been a while, but they took just... If you got hit 4 times by the weed, you were dead. You were a dead turtle. And there were some tight-ass spaces in that dam. And you had to disable something like 8 bombs in order to beat the level. And if you missed one, you were fucked. Because it was timed. They timed this shit. There was an order. It was like the Pac-Man pattern. And if you fucked up just one bomb, you were screwed. Just freaking, oh my god, this is the most unforgiving shit on the planet. I'm pretty sure there's like 5 cracked articles about it. Go check that shit out. Oh, Jesus Christ. How are we doing here? We got a little over 9 PED worth of ammo left. We've made about 8 PED in shrap. I think we're breaking even so far. So far. Whoops. Oh, good thing that doesn't actually waste ammo. Glad we're not in a PvP zone. Oh boy. And the thing is, I still have my NES. If I had a television, I would totally hook that shit up. I love my old NES games. I do. I think I need to, so... Of course, the NES is, what, 35? I think the NES came out the year before I was born, so it's 35 years older. It's either 33 or 35. It came out somewhere near where I was born. And, of course, now the warranty is non-existent, and I need to actually go in, because if for those of you who actually had a NES, back me up on this, you had to blow in the cartridge, which they told you not to do. And then you had to move the cartridge around on the copper glass contacts in there to make sure you had enough connection to actually play your game. Well, they didn't tell us this at the time, and none of us would have known any better to begin with, but the Nintendo Entertainment System contacts are, of course, made of copper. Copper oxidizes. So I've had this Nintendo for 25, 26 years. I've never cleaned it off. Actually, I've had it for damn near 30 years. I got it when I was 5. Holy shit, I'm old. Fuck my life. Anyway, so at some point I need to go in there with copper cleaner, pull the contacts out carefully, and clean this friggin' cartridge reader off. Because from what I understand, if you clean it off, it actually reads shit a lot better. And, of course, everyone out there is just like, fucking duh. But, I mean, they didn't tell us this shit when we were kids. Don't judge me. How the fuck were we supposed to know? Shit. Remember, when I was a kid, computers still to a large extent were done with punch cards. And now, memory is digital instead of analog. There's no magnetic tapes. There's no magnetic discs. I distinctly recall on my TI-99 2000 game computer. This was probably the first dedicated gaming computer. It might have been beaten by the Commodore 64, but I don't know if that's considered a computer or not. Having to program in BASIC from a book. A coin toss game. And I sat there for a half hour at the age of 8. and program this fucking coin toss game in basic. We're not talking visual basic, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking basic, where the first thing you type in is 10, call, clear. And then you do 20, and you start again. And occasionally, and at the end of it, to make sure you could use it more than once, you had to make sure you put in 20. You had to make sure you put in go to 10, so you could start the game again. Or else you could play it once, and that was it. And if you fucked the code up, it didn't work. So I got my first taste of coding at the age of 8. And I had no fucking clue how valuable that shit would have been if I had just stuck with it. Because it was a toy. Computers were toys. They weren't tools. I mean, yeah, you could get a basic calculator out of it. You could do these little coin toss things. You put the cartridge in, you got to play the 4-bit maze game. You think I'm making that up. It was a 4-bit fucking maze game where you were a mouse running away from a goddamn cat. And the cat liked to eat your face off. And if you made a wrong turn at the wrong time, and you could set it to slow dumb cats, and this cat would still catch up with your stupid ass. Okay, and if it was a fast smart cat, you were fucked. We're talking probably more unforgiving than early NES games when you were on hard mode. Oh man. And that's really what it was all about back then, is how much of a challenge could they just make these, make these games just fucking ridiculous. And we ate it up. We totally ate it up. That's what we were about. Boy, I've sure come a long way from Lootius, haven't I? How much money do I have left? I might cut this short. We're at just under 7 PED remaining. Nah, maybe I can go the whole distance. So I'd love to know, what kind of games did you all play when you were younger? You know, I'm sure that at some point all of people of various ages watching this, some of them are older than me, and just saying, boy, Atari. And I did play Atari. Not when it first came out, of course, but I did play the Atari. Space Invaders. My uncle had an Atari, and we played that shit all day. But you know what? Atari almost destroyed the video game industry. So if you think about it, I'm not sure how I feel about Atari. Because they made E.T. E.T. was that game that was so bad that it single-handedly destroyed an entire industry for a couple of years. They literally dumped hundreds of, thousands, it had to be thousands of copies in a landfill for an anthropologist to dig up a little less than a decade ago. It was just the worst game of all time, and it's still the worst game of all time. I think it's in the Guinness Book of World Records. It's the worst game of all time. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking, or what they were drinking, but I'd avoid that shit. I don't know, man. But no, let me know what you guys used to play back in the day. I'm feeling a little retro tonight, if you hadn't noticed. Wasn't my original intention, but sometimes that happens where I get kind of into a retro mood. Let's see who's on tonight. Just Last Shadow. I get a little bit nostalgic. It's probably because I'm planning on starting the Crash series after I'm back from my vacation to Texas. I wish some of those games could be re-released just so I could play them. And I know I could do an emulator on ROMs with questionable legality. I'm not going to put that shit on YouTube even if I did do it. And most of those are virus laden and I'm not going to download them on my PC. Wish they weren't. I think it would be awesome if we had some legit re-releases. I'd totally pay for that shit. But they don't. And this little asshole's following me. Hi. I'm gonna hit these guys with the weaker. It doesn't grind the skill up quite as fast, but I think that by doing this, I'm gonna be more efficient PED-wise. Jammed. Fuck you, jammed. There we go. Where the hell are all the level 4s? I've seen level 6s here. Where the fuck are they? It's all level 3s. For the last 3 or 4 days, it's all been level 3s. I just want to fight some level 5s and 6s. I might have to go down to Boreas and avoid the sweating fields because I'm not that kind of an asshole, but just go down to Boreas and hunt the Kerberos. It's just bollocks is what it is. Because to be honest, I am just a little bit tired of fighting these Daikabas. I've come a certain distance in the Berry Clad challenge. I've come a certain distance in this challenge, the Iron Shinkaba Daikaba challenge. I think I'm on level 3 or 4 at this point. I can look that up here. My psyche's improved. Yay! 3. And these usually go up to 5 or 6. But they're super grindy. I mean, I've done plenty of grind in my time, right? I think this is why I'm going to do the storyline quests. I think I might do a video tomorrow or the day after, depending on when my Mason's training is this week. And just do a vid doing one of the storyline quests. I think that would be worthwhile. Maybe I'll do several of them. I can't guarantee they're not going to be all in one night, but maybe that's what I'll do. That'll be my new agenda. Just do a bunch of storyline stuff. Because I don't think anyone's really been through all of the quest lines. In fact, I almost guarantee there isn't anyone who's done the whole shebang. And so I figure if I do all of Calypso eventually, and I go around and I do like I finish Calypso and I jump to Arcadia and I do all of Arcadia, and I jump to Monria and I do all of Monria. And Monria is supposed to be like this atrocious horror world, and I've seen some of them, and some of them are pretty fucking ugly. Like, there's something that Grandfather Nurgle from Warhammer could love. And I'm like, that's where I want to spend my time. But I think that's what we'll do. We'll start going through the storyline quests. We'll see where, or I'm sorry, the missions. We'll see where they lead. Just go from there, see where it takes us. I think that would be awesome. And then it's less about, you know, are we making a profit, are we making a loss? It's more about, you know, are we having fun? What have we learned? What part of the history have we discovered? What cool thing have we come across? Yeah, because we're down to 3 PED. We're going to call it here pretty quick. I'm not going to run it all the way to 0, because knowing my luck, I'd run it all the way to 0 and then run into some asshole. Level 10 bullshit. Because that's happened before. Okay, we're going to call it here. So we're going to spawn, yawn, sleep near, because I'm too lazy to drive. There we go. Operate. Some guy in Mindark's starter pack armor. I didn't get the starter packs. I thought about it. The cost of a starter pack in this game is the same as if you had bought the game at retail price. I mean, you can go as low as 20, but the good starter pack, the most efficient one, is $60, which is the cost of a normal video game, right? Actually, I think most of them are 70 now. So that's not bad. You get a shitload of universal ammo, you get good starter armor, front-ending punies, or even these low-level Daikaba. And you get, like, loot pills and shit like that, maybe some stems. I just, I saw what was going on. I don't use ranged weapons or I didn't use ranged weapons for the most part. Now I'm kind of on this mind forced kick. But it's not really my thing, so I decided not to do it. I'm going to stick with what I know. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. I'm going to look through my own face. That's cool. So, I'm not going to do that for the time being. Why am I stuck? Are you serious? I found like the one glitch in the entire area, and I, of course, would step on it. But it's still letting me, okay. Not even going to question. Not even going to question. So let's look at what we have here. So I have 335 left out of 20 PED. So our goal number is 1665. Did we make 1665? No. We're about 3.5 PED down. And you know what? That's okay. It is. You know, sometimes shit like that happens. That is okay. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Please, again, hit like, subscribe down below. Let me know how you think I'm doing. Can I, like, hit the construction chart? No, I can't. Okay, I'm gonna have to T from here. Shitbox. Like and subscribe down below. Please let me know how I'm doing. Just let me know what kind of video games you used to play. I'd love to know. What console generation did you start at? Or were you always members of the PC Master Race? And then what games you enjoyed when you were kids. That's all I have. Y'all take care of each other. Have fun. Bye.